And then I was like mad at her. I was all cold for a few days because I had been like kind of the teacher's pet.
In your head, you're in a relationship.
In my twisted head, it was like something. And so she had to like actually have a talk with me after class one time. This is how ungroomable I was. She was like, listen.
Was she trying to
groom? She had no interest in
You
me.
wanted to be groomed.
Yeah,
I think you were very groomable. And she had good boundaries.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Yenta, the podcast where we're going to gossip and we're going to share everybody's dirty, juicy secrets. Nobody, please, if you're listening to this, just turn it off, okay? Don't listen to this podcast. This podcast is full of secrets, full of gossip that's really not meant for anyone. Go do something better with your time, right? Like, go volunteer.
Honestly, if you're not volunteering instead of listening to this, you have screwed up.
You're a bad person.
You're a bad person.
Do something better than this podcast. Anyway, thank you so much for joining. I'm Raye Schiller. I'm the Yenta. And we have a guest co-host again on this wonderful podcast. The amazing, the hilarious. Everybody give it up for Antonia Lassar.
Hello, it's me. No, you had it right the first time.
Lassar.
You really ruined both words of my
names.
name. It's Antonia Lassar. I'm guest Yenta today.
Oh, yeah.
It feels so good to be a guest Yenta. I love being here.
Thank you for being here. We love you here. The Yentas love you. You are a Yenta. You're an honorary Yenta.
When I can be a substitute Yenta, it feels so good in my little Jewish soul.
Your mom is proud of you.
Yeah, she is.
And we have a wonderful guest, you guys, an amazing guest on the podcast today. Like, truly, one of the mishpacha, if I may say, one of the family. Sarah Afkami, everybody.
Yeah. L'chaim. Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Sarah, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
on
for
the Yenta podcast.
Me. Such a good setup.
We met through my father, and that's why I'm saying you're part of the mishpacha.
He's my shul friend.
Yes,
that's true.
The famous Doug.
The famous Doug, who, listener, if you're paying attention, has been on this podcast.
That's right.
Many times. He's actually a star of the podcast. The people tune in for him, not for me. Let's be honest.
He's got a lot of charisma.
He does. He has a lot of friends. He's actually way more popular than I am, too.
He's incredibly popular.
He's so popular.
I came to one of your Shabbat lunches, one of his Shabbat lunches.
You were my only friend there.
Yeah.
He had like 20 people.
I was your plus one, and he was surrounded by admirers.
And he can party.
That's where I get my love of attention from. Thank you for being here. Sarah is a writer, a comedian, a wonderful person. You introduce yourself, Sarah.
Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, I've written for some TV shows.
Name drop the TV shows.
Yeah, get in.
Oh, so kind. I mean, my first real gig was being on the staff of Wilfred on FX.
Do you know the show Wilfred?
I know it exists, but I haven't
With
seen
Elijah
it.
Wood.
That's right.
So good. I love that show.
He saw his neighbor's dog as a man in a dog suit. It was based on an Australian series.
Love it.
And then, other comedies, Andrew Dice Clay's Showtime show. Most recently, a show called Bird Girl that's on HBO Max. You can catch it now.
Damn.
A lot of human-animal hybrids.
Wow,
your specialty.
Andrew Dice Clay. Many people would call Andrew Dice Clay a
human-animal hybrid.
Certainly. Others, not me. I'm a big fan. He's a great father and a great person. He's controversial.
That sounds like the kind of compliment you give someone you don't like. He's a great father.
No. He's a wonderful
and that's the only great thing.
No, I really
you
enjoyed
heard it
working with
here.
him.
Sarah hates Andrew Dice Clay.
No, I love it. No, Andrew, call me. No, we text all the time. Actually, just for Passover, we texted. He's great.
Yeah.
He's hilarious.
Love Andrew.
He became an icon in the 80s when there was no social media. I mean,
How
to blow
did he do
up
it?
like that is just, he sold out. He was the first comedian to sell out Madison Square Garden twice in a row.
Wow.
Good for him. So are you kind of like a little bit of a stand-up nerd?
No, I mean, I worked with him, so I learned everything.
He just tells you all
No,
the facts
no,
of
no.
his
I mean,
life.
when I was meeting for it with the showrunners and everything, then I geek out.
Yeah.
When there's money on the table.
That's right.
I'm more of a whore. A brain whore. We like to call it a brain whore. I have intimacy issues, so there's no touching.
Just with our brains, we just touch with our brains.
Yeah.
We touch with our brains so hard.
It's a mind fucking.
Get all slimy.
No.
Is that how you fuck?
Figuratively slime.
Slimy, your brains touching,
Brains, slimy
mushing
brains.
together.
Oh, this is good content already, Sarah. You are a great guest.
Well, I think you're so interesting. Besides for just being a nice person, because you just have like such cool ideas about gender and sexuality that like are different from most people, and I'm kind of bored about how most people talk about it at this point.
Thank you. I was actually just saying off before we started that it's very scary to admit some of the things. I mean, to so badly. I mean, back when I was growing up, it was called penis envy. Dysphoria was called penis envy.
Which we can still use.
Yeah. I don't think it's like a canceled word.
Yeah, are we
right?
allowed to say penis envy?
I imagine it's probably best if you identify it for yourself rather than saying that someone else has penis envy.
And
but if you say it, if you have it, go for it.
Yes, it was a seething dysphoria.
Yeah.
But it definitely, I didn't have the wherewithal or courage to present as a man, unfortunately. I mean, a lot of it is about my family, and then a lot of it was just fear of not being an attractive man.
That's
my God.
real.
That's real. Can I tell you? I did the Face app this week. And because, as I told you, I'm on getting top surgery. I'm on this like journey. And I was like, wait, so do I actually like want to transition to being a guy? And I was like, well, I have to see if I'm a cute guy.
Yeah.
And I face apped myself and I was like, absolutely not.
Well, I don't know. I think he'd be a really hot guy.
I think you could be.
But I'm a hot girl too.
Yeah.
And I think I'm hotter as a girl. And
that's how you know your gender.
yeah, exactly.
Whichever gender you'd be hotter
Yes, it's
in.
true.
Honestly, that
Truly.
that is real.
It is. Especially because like all these, love them to death, these lesbians that are transitioning to men, but they're also like 5'2". And they're just, it's a hard life.
It's tough.
As a 5'2" man, trans man.
Trans, not trans.
Not whatever.
Right.
It's a hard life as a 5'2" person.
Right. But I will say a lot of like women definitely are heightists.
Heightists.
Like if you're
Absolutely.
wanting to date
Totally.
women,
Cis women.
Yes.
Or even, trans, any woman.
Right. Or anyone, yeah.
But especially cis women, I feel like are going to be like, oh, you should be tall.
There's a big
You're
thing
guy.
about
Yeah.
like, I just need him to be taller than me because I need to feel safe. It's like, well, maybe you should look at his
and
bank
also
account,
you wanna- and
bank account and portfolio, real estate
and
portfolio.
even that, what are you gonna? If there's a zombie apocalypse, that guy's gonna protect you? No, gonna give the zombie money.
Yeah, come on. You want to feel safe? Like, get him to go through EMT training.
Yeah,
CPR certification.
I want a guy
Krav
who
Maga.
can put in an IV.
That's a good point.
Have you seen The
Your
Last of
mind
Us?
goes.
Like, I want a guy who can sew up a wound.
Exactly.
You know, who knows how to really do to sanitize a wound.
yeah.
That's what you need in the zombie apocalypse.
That's very fair.
Also, can shoot a gun.
That would be helpful too.
Yeah.
That would be very helpful.
How do you feel about guns?
Whoa.
Hot
Yeah,
topic.
let's
We're
get
getting in there.
in.
This is now a political podcast. We're gonna ask.
I did grow up in Texas.
How do you feel about Bud Light?
Oh, yeah. Well, Kid Rock. We all know Kid Rock does not have good aim. I mean, the guy posted it. He had his AR-15 or like whatever it was, and he couldn't shoot the can. So
Really?
he still posted
I
it.
heard he posted something, but I didn't watch. That's so embarrassing.
Yeah, being a Texan.
It's like be a good transphobe. If you're
an effective one.
if you're gonna be a transphobe, do it
Good at
well.
shooting.
Yeah.
Oh no, that sounds.
Honestly, yeah. Guns freak me out so much just because you gotta be honest, their inherent purpose is to kill. That really freaks me out.
Yeah, in Texas, they still, they have open carry. So
Totally. You can
could be
get a
in
gun at a Walmart.
You could be in a restaurant, you could be anywhere, and you can have a barrel just staring at you from a guy's crotch. It's quite an experience.
Small penis.
Yeah, lots of
Has a tiny dick.
yeah, Napoleonic complex for sure.
I shot a gun for the first time in 2020 in Arizona. In Lake Havasu, Arizona, which is like Trump country.
Oh my God.
Like the Trumpiest place I've ever seen. Like flags, every single house had either like a Trump flag or a flag that said "Make Liberals Cry" flag. Like it was.
Wait,
It was.
I
it
have
was
never
really
seen
intense.
a flag that says "Make Liberals Cry."
Lake
And
Havasu, Arizona.
I've spent a lot of time in the South. Wow,
It was so crazy, and I was like a closeted liberal, queer,
Non-binary.
in this like Trumpy place, and it was more in the height of COVID. So I went to go shoot a gun, and I was wearing a mask as I went to go shoot a
mask.
gun.
Were they mad that you had a mask
Yeah,
on?
they were like, "You can take that mask off. You can take it off," and I was like, "No, I'm gonna keep it on." And I shot a bunch of guns, and I liked it. Drama.
Wow. That's
I'm
so
a
interesting. Yeah,
They
what did
took
you
away
like?
my queer card.
Yeah,
You had to
Gone.
earn it back.
Yeah. How? Lots of pussy.
just keep eating.
Yeah. Keep eating the amount of pussy to match the level of bullets I shot. Like it's one for
That's
one.
how it works. We don't make the rules.
I don't know. It was empowering. I feel like it's kind of like swimming. Like it's a life skill that you might not use all the time, but in case you might need to use it one day, it's good to know.
I don't necessarily disagree. Listen, I saw
Wow.
The Last of Us.
Yeah.
And
You never know.
I definitely felt like, wow, in the zombie apocalypse, I would not have this necessary skill. God, I think about the apocalypse scenarios all the time. Like, I'm like, I have to always be wearing shoes I can run in.
And you are. And
I am.
Listener, she's wearing very comfy looking shoes.
Very comfortable shoes.
Yes, wide shoes.
That's right.
For your feet health.
That's
toe
my thing.
health.
You,
toe health.
Ray knows I'm about that toe health.
Toe health is important.
I'm about it.
It's crucial.
Sarah, how do you feel about guns? We interrupted you.
No, I mean, I think that it's definitely, look, I mean, with gun policy and all that, I mean, it's kind of a tricky situation. I don't know. I agree with you. I think definitely we should also know how to grow our own food. I'd like to just go there with it. I mean, the runs on banks are a very real thing.
Nice swerve. I appreciate that. I see what you're doing and I accept it.
Well, you know, if you see before the Second World War, you know, in Germany, there were these basically banking policy, monetary policy happened where the currency was like worthless in Germany. So you see pictures of people with wheelbarrows of paper money that they're using instead of firewood because the wood was more valuable than the paper money. So I just want to put that out there that we should really
learn how to grow our own
Let's
food.
be preppers.
Yeah, find some land. Actually, we can all go to Austin.
In The Last of Us.
Yeah.
In,
Yes.
oh
my God.
what's his name again?
Nick Offerman. And
that was a great
incredible.
episode. I cried.
I sobbed. Oh,
Did you really? Did you see that?
I actually missed it.
Oh my God. It was like he was living in a bunker. He was like this like 9/11 conspiracy guy who planned for the zombie apocalypse, but also happened to be gay.
Oh,
And it was
Closeted.
Nick Offerman.
oh, that's so good.
Which actually I love because I feel like every 9/11 conspiracy theorist in the South is also probably secretly gay.
I bet they're thinking, you know, how do I take care of my sexual needs in the apocalypse? I might have to have sex with men. Am I okay with that? You know?
They prefer
You
it.
gotta prep. You
Yeah.
gotta prep. Speaking
Prep.
of, get on prep.
Yeah, exactly.
That was a great segue. That was a brilliant
If you're
segue.
gay and you're listening to this, get on Prep.
It's a great
We
thing.
are sponsored by
Yes.
Prep. Promo code SARAH.
Or how about what is that beautiful, powerful gland? The prostate. How about PROSTAT?
Promo code. Yeah.
That's a great gland. It's a great gland.
Okay, so you're like you had penis envy,
Yes.
and now how do you identify?
Look, I mean, I definitely do identify these days as non-binary, but I don't really have the self-esteem to demand a they, them. And so, I mean, I do feel more comfortable and it feels more apropos to be an it, that, just because that's how I feel. But then I realized apparently that's something that the right wing says. So I never want to embolden anybody like that. Matt Walsh, that guy's a psycho. That, speaking of closeted men that just need some peen in their life, right? Yeesh. Like he's so fixated.
Some nice testicle.
Yeah, that
in their
guy.
mouth.
That guy is fixated. I mean, it's like God. Does nothing else come into your algorithm at this point?
I think they know that that's what's going to blow up their own algorithm.
right.
That's why they do it.
Absolutely.
They want the eyeballs. Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say I'm on paper pan as far as that goes, but I'm also pretty repulsed by anyone that's into me, and I'm constantly longing for people that don't like or respect me. So I now identify as a pathetisexual. So that's the
Is
official.
that a line in your
I
bit?
believe that's real.
Very good.
It's definitely new stand-up. I'm testing out. Hey, folks, tip your waitress. No, it's definitely, look, I think it's a complicated thing. I mean, I think that we all have polarity in us, and I do look back now, and I'm like, how much of it is all that I have? I mean, with the Guild, the Writers Guild, when I got the paperwork in 2010, right after college, yeah. When
You did.
That's right.
We have a real Writers Guild member right here on the Yenta podcast. The first Writers Guild member, actually.
I am sure. I just think it's so great that every time we introduce a guest, they're like, I'm a writer, I'm a comedian, I'm an actor. And this is the first one who's actually making their living.
Paid. money. Teach us how to do it.
Yeah, I don't have a dishwasher in my home yet, so that's the next goal.
I do.
Nope, no dishwasher.
But there's a spare bedroom. I use it as an
Honestly,
office.
that's a lot better than a dishwasher.
You're thriving.
But so it's 2010. You get the
Yes.
Writers Guild
Yes.
paperwork.
And it said male, female, and transgender. And I was, a bumpkin from Texas. My whole life I had been there.
Wait,
I
that
knew what
was
to
the
go.
option, male, female, transgender?
And I checked transgender. I was like, fuck yeah, I transcend gender. With all there were years and years where I definitely had, did I do waist up stuff with women? Yes. Did my mom say it was
Waist up stuff with a woman?
It was very Brokeback Mountain though. Like I would do it and then I'd feel shame and I'd be like, that was just a dream. And then
That was just a dream?
I would say that to her. I'd be like, let's go to sleep. That was just a bad dream. And then the next day she would try to bring it up and I would act like I didn't remember. It was terrible. I've made amends. I've made amends.
Poor women.
No, I've made amends. And it was just one girl really the whole time. That sounds worse even, doesn't it? She had her own. She had boyfriends.
We all go on a journey.
We
Yes,
all
yes.
suck.
No. She had. She's happily married now with kids. So
Is she happy?
I mean, as happy as anybody.
Is she pining for you and the waist up fondling that you did?
What is a waist up energy like? Like what is it just tit action?
Yeah. And then it was also there was a culmination very fast, if you will.
So there was there grinding?
Good question.
Enough for me to afterwards have the shame. There was something came to fruition. It was a lot of premature.
Did you have
vibes.
shame with men?
No. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just all like I remember weeping to my mother, confessing about it because I felt like it was this dirty secret. Wow. And then she said she blamed it on America and said there's sex in the air. I guess that's what any Iranian woman would do is blame it on America.
Sex in the air.
Yeah, she was like,
That's the name of my new podcast.
Sex in the air. Or a special.
Yeah, my special. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, so there was a lot of that shame. And then actually looking back, though, I had all these... I actually was very, very obsessed with I had a lesbian history teacher, Dr. Khan. She was very butch. Yes. And, mask presenting. She was very uptight. I love uptight people of all genders because
I'm not into you.
Well, yeah. Preferably no interest. Reluctance to revulsion is preferred anywhere in that hemisphere. But actually, so yeah, I was super fixated on her, and I just wanted to help her relax. You know what I mean? She was so uptight and type A and starched up, with her little button downs and khakis.
Oh my
She was
God.
always
So this is a butch lesbian teacher in Texas.
Yes.
Where in Texas?
Austin. But
Okay.
it was the burbs. So
still,
it wasn't
yeah.
as cool. It was a mix. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Round Rock School District. Shout out.
Shout out.
Shout out to all of our Rand Rock listeners. Stay tuned.
So she, I had her in middle school and in high school. And then we bonded over the fact that we both really thought JFK was kind of a hack and that LBJ was like the man. He was a better president.
Wow, hot goss.
Totally.
Oh my God.
LBJ the worst.
No, LBJ's the good one.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's what I
JFK
meant.
was just a hottie.
Yeah, exactly. His hair. We were
Yeah.
always like, oh, his hair got all the credit. He was all coiffed.
Young.
Yeah,
hot.
he's coiffed and hot.
Had such a sexy death.
Yeah, and the family money, all
Yeah.
of that, whatever. He was like the OG Chad, overrated Chad.
Totally.
But so what happened was actually I started, because I had her in middle school and then back in high school, I thought maybe we were like destined to be together. I was like really obsessed.
Oh, wow.
To the point where actually my parents, it became a joke. It was like a bit with our family that after dinner, I don't know how I figured out where she lived. But we would drive past her house as a family.
What?
But it was never like nobody was like, oh, is Sarah gay? Nobody was really saying
On
it. It was
the
just
way to like
after
do an
dinner.
errand?
No,
or
no,
like
after dinner.
literally you were like, let's go on a drive to the lesbian teacher's house.
After dinner, we would all have a family dinner. I'd be like, can we drive past Dr. Khan's house? And we would. Actually, now that I think about it, it's kind of supportive of my parents. It was like an elephant in the room, I guess. Like nobody was like, you're
A dyke?
yeah, nobody was calling me that.
But in their head, they were like, dyke.
Stalkerish dyke. But then finally, so this is culminating. I remember once I joked with her in front, like I was getting more aggressive with my flirting over time. This was junior.
How old is she?
She was like in her 40s at least. Wow. And, I definitely did something like inappropriate. Like I may have like jokingly held her hand or something like in front of people and she had to like really kind of pull away. And then I was like mad at her. I was all cold for a few days because I had been like kind of the teacher's
Because in your
pet.
head, you're in a relationship.
In my twisted head, it was like something. And so she had to like actually have a talk with me after class one time. This is how ungroomable I was. Is that she was like, listen.
Was she trying to
No,
groom?
she had no interest
You
in me.
wanted to be groomed.
Yeah, I mean,
I think you were very groomable. And she had good boundaries.
I don't know. Something nobody had interest in grooming me.
You were desperate for grooming.
I was pre-groomed.
Oh my God.
I was self-grooming.
This is so dark.
Self-grooming. So then
Self-grooming.
she was like, listen, I know you're kidding, but like we're in Texas. Eyes are already on me because I present like this. Like I can't risk my job. I know you're kidding, but you gotta be more appropriate, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, okay, fine.
Wow. That's also very generous of her to say, I know you're kidding when
Yeah.
you were not kidding.
Yeah, the lore is that she got blinds on her classroom because of me. And my friends would say it. I don't know. It was a bit that went a little off
And
the rails.
where is she now? Now she's
I
living
don't
with
know.
her. Now she's
Because
listening to this
now,
podcast.
honestly, now would be the time to start a relationship.
Well, I don't know. We'll
She's
have to see
probably
how she
30 years
looks.
older than you.
Shout out, older lesbian,
Khan.
Dr. Khan.
Pam Khan.
And
No,
she's
she had
a
great
PhD?
boundaries. Yes, she got her PhD. Something in history.
That's
We
hot.
both had a huge passion for history. That was the bond. And she used to.
You were a child.
I was allowed to love history.
Totally, but your shared passion of history brought you together.
No, there was no togetherness.
Okay,
To be
okay.
clear, now that I
Yeah,
mentioned her
yeah.
name,
Yeah.
there was no togetherness.
No, she
unfortunately.
had good boundaries.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
really normal for a child. Like
Right.
all students get crushes on their teachers.
Did you?
Of course. I had a plethora. I mean, it's like every teacher who came across my path, there was a little something there, you know?
Something.
And so that's why if you're going to be a teacher, you need to
Boundaries.
know that all your students are going to have a crush on you, and you're in charge of enforcing those boundaries. You can't be like, oh, it's the one student, like my one destined student has a crush on me, which happens. You know?
Oh, I heard there was like a big sting. Like apparently it happens in like clusters. Like I think 4 or 5 women teachers just got busted. Oof. Like one
Really?
was like a school lunch lady, very attractive, really busting those stereotypes, and had like a threesome or something with like
With
two
two-
students.
Wow.
Boys.
All right. But I don't want to sensationalize this.
Oh,
We're
no,
done.
no,
We're done.
I'm sorry. No,
Yeah.
it's not a good thing. Anyway, wow.
Terrible,
No.
terrible.
To consent and
But,
laws of consent,
But
and
anyway,
age of
this
consent.
it's amazing that you had this like formative queer experience
you.
by like watching your lesbian teacher.
Right. And I remember being drawn to Ellen DeGeneres. Sorry, I know now Ellen is person non grata, but I had like one of the books, and I remember people.
Ellen is OG lesbian.
Yeah.
We can acknowledge her
Who
for
did
what
an
she
imprint.
is as a person. We don't have to just dismiss her as a person.
Thank you. Yeah, and back in the day, her.
Am I going to get canceled for
No,
that?
I mean, her stand-up was really good back in the day.
Yeah. I'm sure
I'm
it
sure
was.
fame and power and money.
It fucks with you.
Yeah, when you're like on an estate in Montecito, which is like the rich part of Santa Barbara. I mean,
Oh, is that where she lives? Damn.
acres and
Good for
acres.
her.
No, yeah. So, but I remember having a book of hers, and classmates always being like, "Are you gay?"
Yes.
Wait, I have a question for you, Sarah. So, okay. So when you walked in, I saw you in a skirt.
Yeah.
And I know you live in Pico.
Right.
And you're friends with Raye through Ray's like Orthodox dad. And I assumed that you were Orthodox.
That's a good point.
That's a great look. It's funny that you say this, and I think I've discussed this on other podcasts. But if I could look, I would push a button, and I would just be like Mendy Schwartz, just an Ashkenazi man. I think it's a past life thing. I am very. It's funny because for years and years, ever since I got my first writing job, is when I kind of like fell hard for the Orthodox culture of like the music, some of the intense music, especially with like Moroccans and Israelis. Like they have this like intense music and drumming.
We know.
and I fell so hard.
Similarly,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm obsessed.
Antonia, tell her about your church life.
Oh, I mean, I like seek out musical religious experiences. I like went to an evangelical Christian church for a while because their music was great.
Right.
And I'm just basically searching for, and eventually I realized that Judaism had good musical experiences, and that was what brought me back to Judaism. I was like, all right, we can do music too.
Yeah.
But
Hard to find.
It's hard to find, but when it's good, it's really good.
Absolutely, and it almost like I think it pierces your heart in this way where you're like,
100%.
it's so nice because everyone's craving transcendental
Look at us talking
experiences.
about Jewish music on the podcast.
Well, there is something that they say. They say that when we're all singing in unison,
Yes.
the positive points in our heart all like gather together and swirl, and we like become better people through it.
Mashiach energy.
Yes, Mashiach energy.
I stole that from
Modi.
Modi.
And
Modi,
it's good.
shout out to Modi.
Modi,
Mashiach energy.
Did you guys have Modi on here?
Totally.
That's
One day?
huge. Oh, I was like, because he just came out recently.
He did just come
Yeah.
out. We should. I'm gonna hit him up.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
There's no reason. I will hit him up. I'm gonna hit up Elon.
Yeah.
They're gonna charge a lot of money.
They'll charge to be on a podcast?
They might.
Well, I know they charge a lot of money to perform stand-up.
Well, you could at least shame them and be like, oh, yeah, if you need it. Sure.
I like that energy of shaming. I'm a queer poor Jew. Help out a little queer Jew. And if you don't, you're a terrible person. But I like your angle better.
Well, yeah,
You don't want
it actually worked. I don't know if we can talk about regrets on here. It's not a queer regret.
No, you're
It's
not
just-
allowed.
Well, I got an offer a long time ago it was a Comedy Central, like it wasn't a scripted show, but it was like it was a talk show for a comedian, and I remember I had just signed with like a fancy agent, and she was like, you're hot off this like premium cable show. Do you really want to do something like this? And I was like, well, I mean, I definitely like this guy's work. And she was like, I mean, like if you really need the money, we can say yes, but like I recommend you pass.
Wow.
And that I remember I was at a
That
comedy
stuck with
festival.
you.
I was alone in a hotel room. I was like some part of that Persian bullshit pride in my kishkas was like, I do not need the money. I was like, you're right, let's pass. And then I didn't work for like a year. It was so bad.
Oh my God.
It was, so don't listen to the voices that like mess with your ego. That's the
Don't
takeaway.
listen to your gut. Your
Don't
gut.
listen to your agents.
Don't
That's the takeaway.
don't care about money.
But a little. My takeaway
I
is
think the
take
point
the
of this
money
was that she
anything
didn't make
for
money.
money.
Yeah.
take the money on the table. That's actually my real. I
Always take the money. No matter what it's for.
no. We're really mixing things.
I think we should get into our little secrets.
Yes.
Okay.
So the way we do it is that we each go around and we say our secret, and then I rate your secret.
Whoa.
You rate the secrets?
Sometimes in my head I rate them, and then if I want to be a dick about it, I'll say it out loud.
Oh wait.
It's true. It's true. Ray, after one episode, did tell me that my secret was not impressive.
I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you if you have a which
The cake one. You told me it wasn't a big deal.
I said it wasn't. Listener, if you recall the cake secret from a couple of weeks ago, it was a wonderful secret. It just wasn't like juicy.
Oh.
This is unbelievable because I was sweating and literally shaking telling the secret.
Listener, go back 2 episodes and listen to the whole
You'll
secret.
hear
And
it.
you decide right in. It wasn't a good secret.
It's the episode with Menachem.
Yes, that's a good point.
Oh, Menachem's such a good guy. Silverstein? Right?
Yes, we
He's a
love
good guy.
Menachem.
We love him.
Look at us. Okay, so Sarah, do you want to go first?
Well,
on
no,
this?
absolutely not.
Antonia,
I'll go first.
Antonia, thank you.
Okay. I think you're going to like this one, Sarah. So, my husband and I have a friend who we met back in New York. And he is a really, truly lovely human being. I went to a Celine Dion concert with this guy. Let's call him Jeff. And Jeff is just a lovely human being who we've bonded over for a lot of things. He's also very Christian. We really didn't talk about that at all when we would hang out. And it's now that we live across the country that like our interactions are now reduced to writing. Mm-hmm. And
What do you write?
So me and Jeff just send Celine Dion news back and forth.
That's a love
The
language.
best friendship.
Yeah, isn't that beautiful? And Jeff is straight. I mean, he even though he loves Celine Dion, so I don't.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's
I
a
was
good
very much
context
picturing
clue.
a gay man.
So he started messaging my husband because my husband Artem, friend of the pod,
Huge friend.
huge friend. Artem posts like a ton of queer stuff like in his stories. You know, he just he loves to throw like a trans children are in trouble in his stories. You know what I mean?
As one does.
And I'm like, are you doing anything with this other than showing everybody that you're a good person? But what it has done is Jeff has seen this and he disagrees. And so
With trans kids?
And so he started messaging Artem saying like, you know, asking like, so what do you think this is all about? And Artem's first response was to be like pretty defensive. And he's like, and I think his first message was something like, trans people are people. And like, if you don't believe that, then like, you're like,
transphobic.
Yeah, you're transphobic. We can't be friends. And like, you need to know that like these people's lives are under attack. So this is all stuff I totally agree with. Right. And he came to me and he was like, I just said this to Jeff. I'm so proud of myself. And I was like, I love that you like believe this. I also think that if your objective is to convince Jeff of anything, this is not the way to go about it.
Fair enough.
Be strategic.
Fair enough.
Like
About your trans activism.
yeah, like right now in your one-on-one interaction, you are showing off for an audience of people who agree with you who are not there. You know?
Wow.
And so he definitely when we talk about stuff like this all the time. So he at first was like, I'm still proud of what I said. And I was like, yes. I'm really proud of what you said. But like, we really talked a lot about like, what is the strategy here?
Yes.
You know? And he was like, he was also saying, he was like, I'm not like that well educated in trans issues. Like, he's like, I don't know if I'm the one to be able to have this conversation. But also Jeff keeps messaging him, basically sending him news articles about, you know, oh, like there's this one trans athlete who's now competing in women's sports and winning everything. And isn't that so unfair? You know, here's some other like, you know, propaganda about trans people. And Artem he's really tall. He's really good looking. He's incredibly charismatic. Straight men are attracted to Artem. You know, not sexually, but like
they want to be his friend.
They want to be around him.
Yeah.
You know,
he's like alpha vibes.
Yeah, he is. And so like we talk a lot about how he is perfectly positioned to impact men. You know, they actually want to talk to him, and they want to
be on the podcast.
They want to be like, yeah, he should be.
For all of our male listeners.
He should be. He's so good. And not to manage my husband's career, but he should be on the podcast.
You'll take 10%, of course.
And he has his own podcast too, Scary Movie and a Sandwich.
Oh, yum. So every time, is it thematically linked? Is the sandwich linked to the movie?
That's exactly
right.
There's a
fantastic.
podcast for everything.
You know, my friend and I made ramen while we watched Beef. If y'all have seen Beef on
I haven't.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was yummy.
But did you make a podcast about it?
No, but we just ate it and enjoyed it.
This is the way to watch movies. You have to pair a food.
Totally.
So sometimes a horror movie has to go with a sandwich. You get the podcast. It's brilliant. Look it up.
I love anything with content and food. Like, it makes you crave whatever it is. Even in books.
Should we add food to this podcast? Like
honestly,
matzo ball soup.
We all have bagels
that
over
would be
there.
great.
Maybe we'll just
a
stuff
food
our faces.
review. Not eating on mic, but reviewing food.
Yeah, every episode is like a Jewy food pairing.
Ooh, and you could really spotlight some like ethnic ones and remind people there are melanated Jews out there. Because I think there's such a discourse right now, like that it's like Zionist oppressors and they're all white, but there are tons of brown Jews, brown and black Jews, Yemenite, Ethiopian, Moroccan, Persian.
Yeah.
So it's not just about white oppressors, basically. You can be any color and oppressed.
No.
It's so true. I learned the term Ashkenormativity recently.
You love that word.
I love that term because it's true. Like, I thought that it was a thing that all Jews had stomach problems. And it wasn't until very generous people on TikTok commented and were like, that's an Ashkenazi problem. You're being kind of an asshole. That I was like, wait. Yes, of course. My experience is not universal.
Also, I'm Ashkenazi and I don't have stomach problems.
Fuck
you. Is it even an Ashkenazi thing? Okay.
I'm certainly lactose intolerant. That I can't hang with any. I'm almond milk all the way.
The thing about comedy is that you have to generalize. Otherwise, there's no joke.
Yes,
right?
and
hyperbole. Yeah, lots of hyperbole is always great. Yeah, I think that's why it's so tricky right now.
It's
because
so tricky.
People are so
you
quick
can't
to
even say anything anymore. What?
Those damn Gen Z people.
Just turning into a Tucker Carlson.
Right, I know.
Guns.
Oh yeah, you really were baiting us there. You were woke.
I said it.
Woke baiting.
That's
woke
right.
Baiting.
Yeah, we're just not woke enough. Okay, Raye?
I'm like, what's a gun?
Like
I just didn't even acknowledge the existence of guns. I was like, what?
I'm gonna pivot to.
I'm just baking tofu every day.
To plants. Very queer.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah. But so that's what's going on with my husband and Jeff, and they've been messaging a lot, and we've really been like talking about like how do you message this guy back? You know, because I was like, I think your option is either to stop this interaction if you don't feel like you're the person to convince him, or if you want to convince him, then you need to be strategic about it. Mm-hmm. So today he told me he did something I thought so wonderful. Jeff messaged him something else, and Artem was like, listen, like, I like really want to talk to you about this, but I just don't feel like an expert in the subject, and like, I'm so worried I'm gonna say the wrong thing here, and that it's like high stakes, and that like I'm going to make you mad. And I just don't know how to have these conversations. So like, I'd love to have them with you, but like, I also want you to know it feels very vulnerable.
Good. Is this your secret?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so diplomatic. It's just a beautiful,
a nice story.
It's just,
that's nice.
You know,
wow.
I don't think that Jeff would ever listen to this podcast, but I feel like I'm kind of blowing up his spot a little bit, you know?
Oh, so it's someone else's secret.
Yeah. I'm like, this guy's an asshole. I'm great. Jeff's an asshole. No.
My secret is that I drove someone to LAX today because they're going to Argentina. I just thought
your secret?
Well, I just thought that the secret is something that makes us look great.
Style.
Just kidding.
My secret is that I give charity to everyone.
You're such a good person.
Anonymous. That's how much of a
anonymous.
mensch.
Every charity that says anonymous giver, that's me.
No, Sarah, you've missed all the other podcasts. Like my previous secrets were I shit my pants while walking my dog.
Antonia
I've
has good
been
secrets.
secretly binge eating cake and hiding it from my husband.
Sorry, I was not trying to secret shame you. I know we don't.
Like,
we don't
I just
kink
want
shame.
to look good in one episode.
We secret shame on this podcast.
I just wanted to get clear. I thought maybe there was some editing issue or something. We were doing another segment. Like, I thought this was like Mensch Minute or something.
Whoa, I love that. We're gonna put that. We're gonna get that segment in somehow.
Sarah, just let me shine.
You're an amazing person,
You are,
Antonia.
truly.
You are an ally to all.
Yeah, I'm great.
And we appreciate.
So the end of the
Yes.
story is basically that Jeff messaged him this morning and was like, you know what I've been thinking about? There's all of this press about men transitioning to be women. But like you never hear about women transitioning to be men. And I was like, oh my God, that is like deep gender theory,
Yes,
honestly.
absolutely.
And Artem was like, yeah, what do you think that's about? Like, do you think it's like sexism, that it's just assumed that like everyone wants to be a man? And Jeff was like, no, I think that men just aren't intimidated by trans men.
Oh, right.
And which I think is part of it.
Yeah.
I don't think it's all of it, but
Also, what about Elliot Page?
Right.
Yeah.
There's Elliot Page. Elliot Page is the
Is big.
right.
but he's like the
only
trans man.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot about that. I mean, even thinking about socialization, early formative years, like it's interesting to think that that still leaves an imprint. I mean, the development that you get from till 7 or 8, whatever, like I think definitely the messaging is like take up less space.
As a woman.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I joke with my AMAP friend who is a trans woman, you know, that like, I joke that to really fully experience being a woman, there should be like a camp of like people just being like, shut up, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And sit like a lady.
And talking over you the whole time.
Yeah, sit like a lady. And no, you were wrong. The other person was right about all of it. I'm sure you just don't get it, little girl. Like there's just so much of that vibe. Like I'll never forget when I was a kid, sprawled out watching TV, like as a 4-year-old in my parents' friend's house upstairs. And my mom was like, no, sit pretty like a little lady. Like so much messaging is just take up less space and shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's like what we're saying is trans women need more trauma.
No, God forbid. No, that is not what I'm saying. No, I just joke that like it's just
it's a different experience.
Yes, it's a different experience, different journey. Of course, no, there's so much hardship.
But I feel like there is something to trans women who transition later, like they don't have that same like fear of taking up space.
They might not.
Is that okay to say?
I don't know.
Am I going to get canceled for that?
I'm just going to sit
Not
right
all
here.
trans women. And I think that's a good thing.
Again, it's like we're generalizing it, and it's probably true for some trans women.
Some people.
Yeah.
And I
hope that they have that. Like I hope
And no one should have fear of taking up space.
Yes.
Everyone should be who they are.
Like a fully realized, expanded version of themselves.
Yeah.
Living in courage, absolutely.
The way you gave me a look like
No, I was kidding. That was just for theatrics. I don't even know like where this goes. But
I don't think no one listens to this podcast.
No, they do.
No, this podcast is getting big.
Yeah,
I feel it.
Right when you get your first late night special, so we're all going to get canceled together.
Good. I hope no one listens.
No, this is a beautiful. It's all. I mean, at the end of the day, we're all humans. I've been thinking a lot about the idea that I kind of have been modulating, or like the non-binary experience is very interesting too. To think that we kind of conflate it all and put it all under one umbrella, but it's kind of a very different take.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
So different.
Because it's like, I would, in an ideal world, we could live in a very non-binary existence where we're not like labeling it one way or the other. It could just be like genderless traits.
Yeah.
Aggression. We think of male for aggression and these kind of, that feels very antiquated to me. So I think it should be like they're very different schools of thought that get clumped in together, which I think is...
Yeah, and I think non-binary has become its own thing now, instead of just being like when I was non-binary in the olden days. When I started being non-binary, it was just about like gender traits should not have a gender. Like we shouldn't say, oh, you're this because you're a woman, and you're this because you're a dude. But now it's like you're non-binary, so you're your own thing that also involves kind of correcting people on pronouns a lot.
your joke is so brilliant.
Which I don't like.
Right.
That's their whole personality.
I'm sure you've shared that hilarious joke with the audience where you say, because I identify as annoying. That's so good.
Did I do that?
You've said that joke. It's really good. It's
identify
really
as
good.
Annoying.
Wait, I've heard a version where you're like, because I'm non-binary and I'm afraid of conflict.
Yes. Well, that's a different one. My pronouns are they/she, which is I prefer they/I'm terrified of confrontation.
That's it. That's a good one.
Thank you.
I tell that to people. I mean, obviously I don't quote it right, but I quote you.
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I mean, I think we can all acknowledge that there's hardware and software. I think that's something that if we could open the right...
I don't want to call them my tech language.
Yeah, like the right wing nut jobs that are so fixated on the anatomy and physiology. It's like, okay, but there's an extra layer of spirit. I mean, even the Talmud and there are all these places in the Torah that talk about it. Like there's a ruach. There's just layers to our identity, and I think it's a beautiful thing that we're just reconfiguring our take on life and our existence. It's a beautiful thing.
The Talmud also talks about multiple genders and intersex people and all this stuff that people think like, oh, Orthodox Judaism or Judaism doesn't involve having multiple genders.
Yeah, that's exactly
right.
It
also
so does.
I got a job for reading more about that.
It's like not quite as like liberal as like it sounds. It's more like here are all the possible sex configurations and here's how we sort them into male and female boxes.
Right.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not what I read.
No, it's kind of like the second part is like the reason that we're defining
these, but they can't really.
These genders is because we need to know which side of the mechitza to put them on.
No, is that what it says?
Tough.
Yeah, I mean, listen, don't ask me to quote anything.
Let's go. You're a rabbi, aren't you?
Of course. According to all of the angry TikToks I've watched about this, that's what the Talmud says.
And that's where we get all of our information from.
That's right.
TikTok.
I was writing on this project. Oh, do we have a second or no?
No, go. We're going to transition to your secret.
Well, the truth is the stalking the lesbian history teacher was my secret.
Oh, nice.
Because of the talk that she had with me. I never told a soul about the talk. So, but I didn't do it in the right segment. So, but that was a pretty embarrassing.
It was a really good secret, honestly.
Thank you. Yeah, it was pretty embarrassing that she had to basically tell me to stop being a creep. So, I'd like to just...
you can mark that as your secret. I'm trying to think of my ring.
Embarrassing enough, right?
It is, honestly.
I don't think that's embarrassing.
I mean,
it's normal. It's both normal and embarrassing.
Do you feel released from it?
Now I think I am. The minute
give it some time.
The minute I get home, I think I'm going to look her up.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God.
And you have to
Can you send us what you find?
Yes, let's do. We'll do a follow up. We'll have a documentary about it.
Listeners,
stay tuned for the rest of Sarah's story.
Thank you, Uncle Sarah.
Uncle Sarah, is that what we're calling? I love that.
I really do feel uncle vibes. I would love to just wake up one day and just be everyone's uncle.
Well, I think you can be an uncle and an aunt in the same person.
I guess I have a lot of baggage with my aunts. Actually, I opened up about feeling like a man stuck in a woman's body early on. I think I was like 18 or 20 to one of my aunts. And she just looked at me and goes, "You need therapy." So Fuck ants.
Yeah.
The worst. I never want to be an ant.
But
Good
also
accent,
like so open to mental health treatment. Like
There wasn't like it wasn't like a
progressive.
it wasn't like a supportive like, sweetie, let's find one. It was like, not my problem. Go unpack it away from me.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
we all need therapy.
Yeah, it's like
So,
hygiene.
I love you as an uncle.
Thank you.
I love it and I see it.
Thank
I'll
you.
call
You already
Uncle
got the
Sarah.
backwards hat.
Thank you. It might be my TikTok handle. I haven't been on,
Uncle
I haven't
Sarah.
logged in a million years, but that's
Well, your Instagram is also kind of like your drag name,
oh yeah, Shimmy Whitworth.
Shimmy Whitworth.
That's amazing.
Because I asked you, yeah, you want to explain that?
Look, I mean, Shimon is like a very religious guy name, so I like the nickname Shimmy. And there was a Shimmy in my life that it was a person, and I may have gotten a little male vibes on them. And
You were like,
I may have like jokingly humped him from behind. Like I mean, we were all clothed.
Oh,
we were all
boy.
clothed.
Consensually.
Yeah, I didn't actually touch him, but he did not like it, and he lost it on me in front of a bunch of people. So, but I kind of like
and
to
then you
channel.
took his name.
And then Whitworth is a street I've lived on for a long time. It's north of
right
north
here.
of Pico. Yeah.
At Shimmy Whitworth on Instagram.
Yes.
Everybody go follow them.
follow.
Sarah. Do you care about your pronouns?
No, like I
Yeah.
said, that, and then I found
It,
out
that.
Matt Walsh says it, so we cannot
Yeah.
say it anymore. But
I
it
didn't
does
know
feel
that.
more right.
That.
Yeah, because it's like they them has this dignity to it.
What?
I feel like I'd have to have excellent posture to demand that. Like my self-esteem.
I don't
It's
think you
true.
need that.
It's true. There's a test. They make you stand up. You have to carry books on your head. Ray, you did it.
Yeah, I was like, I passed with. No, I did a 50-50.
You
That's why I
totally
have a
did
they
50?
and then a she.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't pass
gotta be
it.
a C.
Yeah.
C plus.
They make you keep the old pronoun if you don't do well.
Who's this they? Is it a tribunal of beautiful trans people or
They're like, you don't pass.
trans tens? It's all tens.
This is going to be on Fox News tomorrow. Did you know there's a test to change?
And it's actually pretty hard.
I am convinced that like Tucker Carlson would love to transition. I just like feel like he would be a beautiful woman too.
He does have nice facial structure. Okay, we're gonna switch to audience questions because
Okay,
we need to wrap up.
Oh, wow. We've had such a good
We've
conversation.
had such an amazing conversation, and I want to get Sarah. The people have asked.
Okay.
The people have asked really important questions, and we need Sarah's advice.
Okay, great. Yeah, please.
Okay. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
It's coming up. Okay. This is an interesting one. Should moms try to date other moms, or will parenting styles clash too much?
Ooh.
I definitely am of the school of thought that anybody should date whomever they want. I mean, so the should, I think this person should not live with the should. I think that it's all about the right person who would live and let live. You know, I mean, and it also, obviously, there are just a million variables. How old are the kids? Are they going to merge and live together immediately? I mean, I think a Brady Bunch scenario could really work. I think it's all about open communication and really just allowing people to live their most authentic
What a
life.
politician. She's such a good responder. Do you have thoughts on that one?
Yeah, moms shouldn't date each
Mom,
other.
don't date each other. Mom, a mom and a mom, gross. Two women, ugh.
I just threw up in my mouth.
Kids? Too many kids, man.
There is a
Gross.
lot of judgment about moms with
seriously,
thirst traps, though.
it's like what the heck? Like parents have been dating other parents for
Yeah, it is a very odd
At
question.
least since the 70s.
It's like, I'm sorry, are we assuming here that dads just like don't give a shit about parenting styles?
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
that's kind of shown. No, I'm just kidding.
That's of course what
I'm
we're
just kidding,
assuming.
I'm just kidding.
You know?
But yeah, I agree that. But have you seen that? Like when a woman does a thirst trap, they're like, "She's a mother. How dare she?" It's like, oh, so she's not allowed to want to be desired anymore. It's kind of so.
Moms
it was
are
funny that
hot.
your spoof was like,
Well, wait.
That's right.
Which
Voice in
moms are
society.
doing thirst traps, and how do I follow
guess,
them?
you know, those people, the Armenians.
I'm sorry.
The Kardashians.
What?
The Kardashians. I'm sorry, I forgot their names.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah, they're big.
Their moms.
That's a good
That
point.
is a wild way to refer to the Kardashians. You know, the Armenians.
I'm sorry. Oh God, I am.
That's what's gonna get you
Oh
canceled.
no, the guns! Wait! Back to the guns.
Let's bring it back to the guns in Texas. Wait,
The popular
while we're
Armenians.
talking about the Kardashians, do we know that Kendall
Yeah,
is dating Timothee Chalamet?
I saw that.
I heard.
That's cute.
But is that real?
It's cute if it's real.
I don't know.
I think
I'm
it's PR. I think it's absolutely PR.
Yeah.
I think that is Kris Jenner
Kris is-
orchestrating something brilliant that got them in all the
I hope
gossip
so.
magazines again. Yeah, because
I'm in love with Timmy, and
Yeah.
it would really changes my opinion on him.
Oh, would it?
Kind of.
But Kendall seems like the more normal one.
Wait,
She does.
which one's the one that has 2 kids with? I think it's ASAP Rocky.
Chloe?
doesn't
Kylie.
I'm sorry,
It's
doesn't
Kylie.
Rhea.
Oh, whoops. I don't know. I barely knew their last name.
Wait.
Kylie is the one that he's dating.
Oh.
So
Well.
I agree. Kendall does seem like the most down to earth.
Yeah,
Wait,
except for
doesn't
I think
Rihanna
she
have
couldn't
kids
cut
with
A$AP
nothing
Rocky.
about any
I
of
think
these
she
people.
couldn't cut
Yeah,
it.
I have no idea.
Yeah,
You're right.
I think we're
Oh,
mixing
whoops.
up black people and
no,
that.
no.
And famous
It's not
people
a racial
dating.
thing. It's
Yeah.
not a
Oh,
racial
yeah.
It's,
I don't know
It's that
any
we're
of
not
them.
consuming the
Yeah.
public, like the
That's it. We're
gossip
not
rags.
racists.
Yeah,
No.
no. We're just like anti-establishment and anti-consumerist, or I like conspicuous consumerism. That's my beef. It's like, can you believe? Actually, there's a great documentary about how it's a newer thought that what we purchase, it says something about us, or like what we wear says something about us. And actually, Freud's nephew, like used all of Freud's theories to manipulate the masses, to get us to
Interesting.
be addicted to retail.
Interesting.
We are addicted to
Also,
retail.
I just want to say it's not like a terrible thing if we were a little racist
Yes.
mixing up ASAP Rocky. I feel like
I don't even know
especially
who I'm mixing him up with.
Ray, you and me as white people, I think we all need to get a little bit better at being like not so
We-
horrified if we do something a little
little
racist,
racist.
and just like admit to it right away.
Totally.
You know?
I did fuck that up.
Nah.
What I loved about Beef, actually, just I don't know, not that it needs a plug, the most popular show on Netflix right now, is like, it's cool to see the nuance between all the different Asian nationalities.
And how they're like racist within
Yeah,
their
like apparently everyone hates the Japanese. And
didn't
then there's
know
like
that.
beef between Koreans and Chinese. And
Yeah.
it's just fascinating to see how much.
Well, same thing in like
nitpicking.
Jewish circles, you know.
Oh yeah.
Like you have like the Mizrahis hating the Moroccans.
Ashkenazis.
I don't know. I
There's
made that
so
up.
much of that.
But there-
Oh,
yeah.
Everyone hates the Persians, especially. Let's get real.
Do they?
It's true. Oh yeah. Well, especially in Beverly Hills, I can say
Oh,
it.
but
Yeah.
they're only
It's
because
'cause-
they're like rich and famous.
Well, they're just douchebags. A lot of them. The
Okay.
way they operate in the world, most of them. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, come on. But I will say that I think
See,
that,
you can say that because you're Persian.
Thank you. But anti-Semites, I think it
Antonia's
would,
getting worried.
I'm
Can
like-
you say that?
So I'm like, you go for it. Me, I'm
the
gonna stay quiet.
materialism. It's the materialism that's disgusting, and the status stuff. But there is, I think that anti-Semites would do. It would be good if they understood how much fragmentation there is within the Yidden.
I
Because
don't think it's going to help.
okay. But I just when they're always
yeah.
like the Jews.
But it's
the
human. It
Jews.
would be very humanizing to hear that
Yeah,
we
that we hate
discriminate.
each other.
Yeah, we hate each other
Just as much as you
they
hate us. We hate ourselves.
Don't worry.
Well, the idea that there's like a big plan. It's like, dude, we can't, like, 5 of us can't agree on like where to
Yeah,
eat.
it's
Yes.
true. It's
Like,
so ludicrous.
Yeah, there's no big orchestrated
There is no
conspiracy.
plan. What should we do for the weather this week, though, guys? Are we
Rain.
into rain or
Yeah,
sun,
rain,
clouds?
rain.
Okay.
That's a good place to wrap, right? To make it rain right now.
Yes.
Wait, I don't follow what's happening.
I was trying to do a bit of us controlling the weather.
Absolutely.
Did
I
that,
followed
we get that part? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we got lost.
Well, the precipitation made me really need to use the restroom. so-
Okay. All right. Good. Because we're wrapping up.
All right, well, we
that's
gotta wrap
what the
this up.
point was. Wait, I have one more question.
Okay. Yes.
How do you come up with material for stand-up? I
Ooh.
find it easier to come up with jokes when I'm going about my day rather than sitting down, forcing myself to write.
I would like to quote a very great comedian who said, well, they've been canceled, so I won't say who it is, but they had a great thing about.
Chappelle.
No, someone else.
Okay.
Louis.
I mean, it was from a long time ago, but it stuck with me. All of the above. No, but they said that, it's okay to not write it all down because it's from the heart. So sometimes if you like crouch over a computer and put pressure on yourself to like write it and memorize it, that's kind of disconnecting. Your heart is speaking to other hearts. So like do it up there first and then record it and hear how it sounds best. So don't put pressure on yourself to make it all like on a Word document or a Google document.
And it's because like there's that thought, and then Jerry Seinfeld, who's like, you have to write every single thing down.
And when's the last time you really laughed at something he said? That had nothing to do with Larry David. Let's get real.
Come on. I think the answer here is that everyone has a different process, and generalizing processes is like
no generalizing.
No, of course.
Except about Jews.
If someone's expressing resistance to doing it a certain way, they shouldn't put pressure on themselves to be word perfect on a computer. That's all I'm saying.
I totally agree with you. I mean, the way I do it is if something funny comes up in my day, I'll write about it, and then I'll try to like sit down and write something. Usually it doesn't work, and I have to do it on stage.
Right. So much of it is delivery and like tone. Yeah, like your facial expressions. And I do think it's all about like when it rings true to people's souls. That's when there's a release of laughter, right? Like I've done jokes that were old that I know work craft wise, but like especially in Brooklyn, if they smell that it's canned, they're like, get out of here.
In Brooklyn,
Brooklyn, everyone's very savvy to authenticity. Like
and they're
Union
also
Hall,
like they also think that they're better than everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
But when they feel,
so don't give them that.
No, but when they feel that you're being real, like when you're off the cuff,
they
do.
Like,
yes,
they know.
Yeah, they can smell it.
I want to do more Brooklyn comedy. Book me on your Brooklyn shows, Brooklyn listeners.
Let's go to Brooklyn.
Antonia, what do you think about our process?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you're right that it sounds like this person's having a hard time writing on a laptop, so find an alternative to writing on a laptop. I think, like, I remember hearing that, like, stand-up comedy is basically complaining. And so if you need a prompt when you're at your laptop, if you want to stay at your laptop, start with your complaints.
Oh, yes.
And go from there.
What's scary? What do you hate?
Yeah.
What makes you angry?
Stupid.
Judy Garner.
Bad. Yeah, exactly. You read that book too.
Well,
Yeah. You wrote it?
No. I am Judy Carter.
Yeah.
All the bad opinions were from her.
Got it. It's not you that's going to get canceled. It's Judy Carter. Same. All of my bad opinions were also from Judy Carter.
It's like there's this movie called Being John Malkovich, and there's a scene where somehow everyone is John Malkovich in a room, like a crowded cafe. It's hilarious.
Yes. No offense to Judy Carter, who I'm sure is listening to this. We love you. We're big fans. I have your book.
I don't know who she is.
She's like a comedy teacher. I mean, she's also a stand-up comedian, but
she has a book about writing stand-up. And comedy, just comedy, actually. Any final words? Where can we find you, Antonia?
You can find me
the star
at Antonia La Star. And I have to explain that that's funny because my last name is Lasar, so pretty adorable.
I don't think it's funny. I think it's just true.
It's punny.
I'm a star. Antonia La Star on all platforms.
L-E star?
Lastar.
Got it.
Yeah. So do you want to write that down right now?
Maybe get a pen and paper. On
I was gonna look it up on my phone.
We'll do it now.
Okay.
We have time.
Sarah, where can we find you?
So on Instagram.
You don't need to look it up.
I was actually looking up my own handles. That's what a millennial I am. I'm like, wait, what are my handles
I know
again?
it. It's at Shimmy Whitworth.
That's my Instagram. And then I think TikTok is Uncle Sarah 99.
Hot.
Which would be great.
Uncle Sarah. Everybody follow Uncle Sarah 99. We should make it 69.
Well, it was taken.
That makes sense. And I'm Raye. I'm Raye at Raye on the way, because we're on the way and now we're fucking here. Okay, thank you.